Hello, everybody. Welcome to the pod today. My name is Omer Jamal. I'm the CEO and founder here at Atlas. Everybody, welcome to the Speed to Lead show, 60-second sales secret show. Here we are obsessed with speed to lead because fortunes are won in 60 seconds or less. Today, we've got Liza Roeser, who is absolutely crushing it at 50Flowers. She's the CEO there. And I'm excited to get to know you today. Welcome to the show, Lisa.
Well, Omar, thank you for having me on the show. And I'm really excited to get to know you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Lisa, we like to just get right into it. So, I would love to learn, for the audience, who you are, what you do, and why should we care? Tell us all about yourself, Lisa.
That's interesting. I am a mother, CEO, and fanatic of just helping people believe that they can bridge to become who they are meant to be on this earth. They can dream about it.
Mm.
Now, who am I? When you bring it all down, I am a hot yogi. I love exercise as well as I am addicted to my work, like every other entrepreneur, I would say.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell us more about that. Like, what's work for you, and tell us a little bit about your work.
You know, uh, um, Quite comically right now, I have taken a 60-day sabbatical,
Mm.
which I know you didn't know anything about that. After working, grinding for 28 years and spending a lot of time working on building the brands that I have founded. And, today, what does work look like to me? Very different than it did about 3 months ago. And, work life is just running a platform to
Mhm.
where inspire people to create beautiful memories by selling flowers on the internet.
Okay, awesome. So 50 Flowers is all about selling flowers on the internet.
No, actually, we are all about helping you create beautiful memories. And we do that by selling you flowers.
Cool.
However, we really are about just helping you create the wedding of your dream.
Mm. So how'd you get involved in this industry, Lisa? 28 years ago, how'd you get involved in this?
Yeah, Omar, I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Ecuador after graduating from Texas A&M
Mm.
with Recreation Park and Tourism Science degree. Nothing to do with business at all. It was more like how do you build national parks and market them. And I just fell in love with the country and got a job working in, believe it or not, running an accounting department for an export transportation company,
Mm.
which I don't know anything about accounting. I placed out of my finals in Accounting 101. They actually asked me not to come back. So I then found that we grew flowers in Ecuador, and then I just fell into the whole flower industry. Fast forward 4 years, I saw a niche of starting my first B2B, direct from the farm to my other consumers in the traditional way of delivering flowers,
Mhm.
and that grew into, gosh, you know what? These beautiful blooms I'm seeing in all the fields of Ecuador, we gotta get them to the consumers, and relying on the traditional way didn't work for my brain. I discovered the internet, when we were dialing up to the internet, and then just started programming and created the very first platform that sold direct from the farm to the doorstep in the floral industry.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. So you were literally one of the pioneers of direct to consumer flower shipping, so to speak.
And not just, it's interesting because as you grow into, this is I'm 2 decades in.
Yeah.
And really taking a step back and saying, yeah, we sell flowers. We served over 1 million events with our flowers, our brand has. We not only have really helped people, create and bring all these blooms to to their wedding.
Mhm.
We've also, when I take a step back, I really think about, gosh, you know what 50 Flowers did? We transformed the way people just even organize their whole wedding today.
I love
You know,
that.
there was none of this existed 25 years ago when we
Wow.
started.
Wow. And Ecuador, not a lot of people know this, but it's literally the flower capital of the world. Like a lot of flower shops owners, they get their flowers, or the wholesalers get them from Ecuador, if I understand correctly.
So now you're tapping into one of my passions and expertise is yes, 80%, and that's the latest statistic,
Mhm.
is the flowers that we consume in the United States come from Colombia and Ecuador.
Wow.
Now, Colombia is about 3 times the size of production
Mhm.
of flowers,
Mhm.
but yeah, in the United States, Canada. I mean, I was just up in Montreal and, talking with some of my dear flower friends up there. And all throughout the Americas, a lot of our flowers that we consume are imported from Ecuador
Wow.
and Colombia.
So I always wonder, how does that work? Is flowers such first of all, like a break, the stems, you know what I mean? Like during travel and stuff like that. How does the actual transportation of it happen? I'm assuming this is in mass bulk. Because
Mhm.
you have a decent sized business.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We fill bellies of planes of boxes, and it all sounds, I love this question because everybody is like, "Wait, they're not in water,
Yeah.
and you put them in a box, and how does it all work?" You know, honestly, it just works,
Yeah.
and, we prep it all along the way.
Mhm.
Once we cut the flour, we put it in some type of solution that's like a Gatorade, and I love to parallel that to, when you go and you train for a marathon,
Mhm.
you train for it, and the night before, you eat your spaghetti dinner, you also have, you pump up on your Gatorade, it's just it's it's an older business. We've been around since the '60s and the '70s,
Yeah.
and, we just know what we're doing. And when I first started this business, everybody in the industry was like, and I was considered the gringa because I live down in South America, and everyone would just tell me, "Gringa, that'll never work."
Yeah.
Like, taking flowers and breaking the cold chain.
Yeah.
You know, just not gonna work. And, we've done quite a bit of studies. I've even done test runs myself before I even launched
Yeah.
because I was selling business to business in the traditional way, and because I was doing that, I listened and I was like, "Okay, I've just got to." One of my secrets is when people tell me I can't,
Yeah.
I am determined to prove that I can.
Well,
Mhm.
I see it. You're just motivated and driven, so you made it happen, right?
Yep. I did, a million times plus.
That's
Yes.
crazy. So where's
But
where
it
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, where's the business today?
Oh, the business today is we're a nine-figure business,
Mm,
and we are fully staffed. I have employees on 4 continents. The majority are on the Americas, and we are growing. We run on in fact, some of the successes in the past couple of years that have really helped us get very laser focused is we're implementing the hedgehog concept. Thank you, Jim Collins, for that.
mhm,
And, we know what we do best, and we're staying within that arena. And I also have some of the most incredible right people, right seats. It's another one of my, what I would tell every entrepreneur out there. If you're starting or you're in a business, it is all about the people and making it crystal clear that you have the right people in the right seats and that you're following a plan.
there you go.
And implemented EOS, which has completely transformed my business and is why I'm on sabbatical right now, rising up to the visionary leader instead of working in the business. I now am not going to work in the business. I'm going to work on it.
Wow, good for you, Lisa. Yeah, I've heard
Mhm.
you're literally the fourth or the fifth person. I have a business coach as well, and you're literally the third or fourth time in the last 2 months that I've heard about EOS. It sounds like you've
Yeah.
implemented EOS, and that's what
Mhm.
has allowed you sort of detach yourself to do this sabbatical. So, tell me a little bit about that. Like, how has that been? Because that's very awkward for entrepreneurs as well to hear that, right? That I'm not even involved in the business anymore because you've done it, and now you've implemented a system that's sort of making the business run itself. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so first off, um, it's been a journey. I heard about EOS, Gino Wickman, met him, and came home and I was like, let's do it. And then it was like, "Oh, no, that's gonna hurt the budget. It's gonna hurt this. We don't have the right people. It's just overwhelming."
Mhm,
So we implemented on our own,
mhm,
and for about 2 years, really tried to get in and get in the groove. Wasn't working, and I finally "I'm done. You know what? We're gonna hire somebody." The best business decision I ever made was getting my EOS coach on. It's expensive, but it's not. It's actually one of the best investments I've made in my company.
mm.
Second off, 5 years ago, no way could I have walked away from the business like I have today. And I think it's better to say I haven't walked away. What I'm doing is I'm getting out of the way.
Okay.
Let that settle in for a second. I'm getting out of the way so that the smart people that have more experience in running the operations and running my customer service department. It's
Mhm.
actually customer, we don't call it customer service. I don't know where that even came from.
Mhm.
You know, getting out of their way and instead of being the loudest voice and saying, "Oh, I know how it works. I've done it. I have to teach you." More like, "Tell me what you would do
Yeah,
to run this."
that's
Getting more curious than ever.
that's interesting. I love that, getting out of the way.
Mhm.
That's
And
great.
it's all about the paradigm of how you frame it. Yeah, I mean, I had the luxury of sending my oldest daughter off to college this past year,
Right?
and that's a whole new chapter,
For sure.
and I can parallel this of with this business. I'm sending my baby off to
Off to
college.
college. There you
Mhm.
go. There you go. That's cool, that's cool. So, Lisa, how tell us a little bit about your clients. What's the one thing that your clients rave about you guys when they decide to work with 50 Flowers?
Well, it's really interesting because I call it customer service, but it really is customer care, is we go above and beyond
Mhm,
with our clients. This company is woman-owned, we're
mhm,
mainly woman-staffed, and we've been either married or we've been dreaming about our wedding
mm,
since we've been little girls,
mhm,
and we tap into your experience is way more important than our bottom line.
mm. So all about customer experience, making the customer feel happy,
Yes. I feel content
content.
because I believe happiness is a journey, it's not a destination, and, flowers are always tied around emotions,
Yep.
and when you think about your wedding day, that is the most important day for a lot of people until the next day. I
Yep.
just have to throw that
Yeah.
in because after your wedding, you have many other highs, but it's almost like it's your first real adult moment. Well, your first job, but
Yeah.
it's very different because
It's a
your
big
wedding is your
milestone. It's a
something
big
bigger.
milestone. Yeah, it's a big milestone in life. It's everybody's excited for it. Your family, friends are excited for it, and it's positive energy. And like you said, flowers are what kind of make you feel good. Everybody wants an abundance of flowers because it makes you feel good. It smells good, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
You said something about happiness. I have a formula for happiness, which I don't know if you're gonna like or not, but to me, happiness is like reality over expectations.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I remember somebody once told me that you get all pissed off in your panties in a wad because your expectations are not in line with
Mhm,
reality.
mhm.
So it doesn't push my button. It's like, yeah, let's just be clear about it.
Yeah,
If I expect you to show up on time and I know you're not showing up on time, I'm accepting that and
yeah,
I just have to set that expectation. Then you know what? It doesn't my panties don't get in a wad.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So, Lisa, on the business side, tell us about some of the big clients you guys have worked with as well. Is it primarily homeowners and wedding planners that you guys sort of work with, or do you guys have done some corporate stuff as well as part of 50 Flowers?
No, we do. As part of 50 Flowers, we have a whole division that's called 50 Flowers Pro,
Mm,
and we work with, country clubs to hotels to, one of my most successful stories was during COVID.
mm,
GoPuff reached out to us and said, "Hey, we want to do flowers." And my biz dev guy was like, "Okay, we're going to do this." And I said, "Well, they have to fill out credit application. And he kind of looked at me and he was like, are you serious? I was like, absolutely. I don't care who they are. Like I've lost $500,000 to clients not paying their money.
Mhm.
Well, fast forward, we're now what, 6 years in, 5 years in
Mhm.
to serving them only in the holiday times. We're about to do some more work with them, develop on that. And during that moment, they acquired Bevmo, and
Mm.
it was COVID. And you remember thinking about the ports were full of all of the container ships that couldn't get in.
Yeah, yeah, there was like a
Yeah.
big blockage in the supply chain, basically.
Exactly, huge blockage, for our hard goods.
Yeah.
And they wanted us to do not only our slice of the pie, which is delivering flowers direct to the doorstep,
Mhm.
they also wanted us to help merchandise and put in like flower stands. And we started down that route of I can do anything.
Yeah.
Like once again, tell me no, we will do it.
Yeah.
And one of the most successful moments was here we are in the middle of all of this, and it's a huge risk to take this on
Yeah.
because not only is it something we're not used to doing, it's also something that, is it's a big relationship for us.
Yeah.
I mean, we're delivering to 500 different warehouses, and it's just fun. We're having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
And I picked up the phone and I was like, we're not going to do this
Yeah,
because it's out of our wheelhouse. And as much as I want to say yes, I only say yes to what I know we can knock it out of the park.
for sure.
Well, they went with somebody else, and it is a huge flower company that is VC backed and has all like you can pick up the phone and someone will come fix your computer.
Yeah.
Unlike in our company, you have to
Yeah.
learn you chat GPT it to figure out what's going on, right? Well, but we got the business the next year.
Good for
So,
you. Good for you.
and that was one of that was a big partner we work with. And we work with, through the years, you name it, we've worked with them,
That's
you
awesome.
know.
That's also big
Yeah,
clients you guys have sort of
pretty
landed and such. Yeah.
yeah.
So tell us, Lisa, tell us about you mentioned ChatGPT. I'm curious about how has AI sort of impacted your business? How do you as a leader think about AI? What are you telling your team? Give me sort of your mental model towards AI and your business.
So, when I first heard about the internet in 1998,
Hmm.
super excited, and that's where 50 Flowers came out of. My first brand is Farm Exports,
Hmm.
which is we still sell Farm Exports, that's the B2B business.
Hmm.
Fast forward to AI, my friends who've known me for years look at me and say, this is exactly what happened to you when 50 Flowers was born. My baby, 50 Flowers, who's off in college, so now there's got to be something new. I am a firm believer in AI. I believe that AI can help you become a better human being
Hmm.
in the sense of it'll multiply your ability to task list. It
Hmm.
will help improve your, you name it. I'm all like, let's do it. The amount of silly platforms that I've signed up on, and my CFO is like, stop it. I'm like, can't. It has all the great. And then it's like the new shiny thing comes on. I am an advocate. I speak about it. I teach people in the flower industry, and I stay within my flower industry instead of going bigger because I'm not going to stand up and say, oh, I'm an expert, because just as we're talking, there's something new that has come out
Yeah,
that that you don't even know about.
I know.
And how do we become experts in something that's evolving so quickly?
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, that's a great point that you bring up. I've been in AI now since 2017. My first company was AI. We exited that business in 2022. And I got married, I traveled. I was actually in Colombia with my wife for a decent amount of period of time.
You didn't call me?
I didn't know you were in Colombia. So this AI thing came about, like it evolved drastically with ChatGPT, and you kind of just get tired of hanging out on the beach all day. So I had to
Yeah.
get back in the game face on, and we're building quite actively in AI. And you're absolutely right that with AI in general, it's so hard to keep up. up, even when you're in AI, this thing is moving so fast. Like where we were back in 2024, Jan, and where we are mid 2025, like it literally feels like 5 years have gone by, but only a year and a half have gone by. And just like you, I am addicted to it too. Like before going to bed, I might be talking to four different AIs. Just if I have an entrepreneurial thought, like the racing mind of an entrepreneur, you're just trying to solve
Oh, yeah.
problems. You're just trying to do stuff, and it sounds like you're basically doing the exact same thing from what I get here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm right there, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, and it's really challenging too, Omar, to keep focused on one.
Yeah.
Like, I had to turn everything off. I have dear friends that are, like, pioneers in this as well,
Hmm.
and, I call and be like, "Okay, I'm about to give in 3 days, I'm gonna be talking. Is there anything else?" And they start divulging all of this development, I'm like, I it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
It is so overwhelming how quickly. So what I've done personally
Yeah.
is I've turned everything off except for ChatGPT, and I have about 85 personalized GPTs
Oh wow.
that trained to help me from menu planning, with well, I no longer have kids at home, but when
Yeah.
I had kids at home, I would spend hours doing that. Now it takes me 5 minutes and
Yeah.
it spits out even my shopping list, which is great because it just makes me a more efficient person.
That's it.
Down to when I'm going to have hard conversations with people. You know what? I carry, in fact, I tried Plod, which is right here,
Yeah.
this wearable AI, and because I can record everything,
Yeah.
throw it in, and then I can get the highlights of where there are gonna be problems in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
No,
helped
100%.
me.
How do you
Yeah.
think about it at solving your business problems? Like, I guess let me reframe that question in a different way. So, if you could wave a magic wand in your business and fix one thing in your business, what would it be, and would AI help you?
Yeah, it's interesting because 'cause I'm gonna go back to people is everything and
Mhm,
refer to what I was just talking about.
mhm,
Being able to record my meetings,
mhm,
being able to walk out with very clear to-do lists,
mhm,
and then also training to be that discerning ear that can listen to when there's resentment
mhm,
and or there's any type of futuristic communication problems. If I was not clear in the way that I described something
mhm.
or I outlined a vision of mine, and I'm calling them visions because they're not tasks.
Yeah.
Any in it using it in that discerning mode
Mhm.
is for me, it has been a game changer, and I believe it is the future of building this, I wanna build $100 million plus flower company,
I
and
love
that's
it.
what I'm missioned to do.
I love it. I love it. And even for customers, I think the same thing that you're talking about, the people application internally, I think the same thing
Oh,
applies to customers too.
absolutely. In fact, we record all of our, customer interactions if they're okay with it, and we're putting it in, and it helps us build, the seamless we get the same 5 questions.
Yeah.
How many stems are in a bunch?
Mhm.
When should I have my flowers delivered? It's the exact same questions, and if we can capture that and answer that before you ask it,
Yeah.
I mean, that's beautiful customer interaction.
100%. And these are literally people like calling you or emailing you with the same 5 questions all the time, basically.
Oh, the same client will call, chat, and send an email.
That's hilarious.
Oh, and, about 12 years ago, we integrated texting, like everyone now is texting with their clients.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm just testing out, like, I always am curious and who's
Of course.
doing
I
what.
see that. I see that.
Curiosity is definitely one of my core values.
Mhm.
And, we started texting with our clients 12 years ago. You'd place an order with us, we'd send you because we don't sell you a finished product. We
Yeah.
sell you a bulk product,
Yeah.
and it's you're taking on a lot as a client.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get these flowers. Our roses come in 25 stem bunches, right?
Mhm,
You
mhm.
only see 12 on top, there are 13 on bottom. Now we text you ahead of time going, "Hey, watch out." But as soon as you get that, we need to handhold you,
Yeah.
and we need to help you understand you have to condition them, you have to process them, you have to, you're gonna have to take the thorns off to, make it, in a light way of saying.
Yeah.
And the way to do that is to be ahead of the game. And we learn from all the interaction with you.
Yeah.
And, doing this 20 years, we're still learning every single day how we can better communicate. And we're leveraging AI to do that.
Of course, human beings are complex, but they're also very simple. So they ask the same things again, and you're managing that. And I'm guessing there's a customer care staff unit that you have, a number of people that basically manage
Yes.
this. Is it round the clock or is it just during business hours?
Nope, I do not believe that we need to be round the clock. In fact, this is where I think AI can lean in and be very helpful,
Mm-hmm.
is that, we know your 5 questions.
Hmm.
So we can use an agent to answer those 5 questions. Then it needs to go to the human touch.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You
That's
know?
what I find too. I think AI is very good, at least right now, for tier one inquiries. So like
Mhm.
anything that's like the basic 40 to 60% of inquiries that come in, and then for anything that's a little bit more advanced, go to the human, so to speak.
I love that. I love the tier 1 inquiries. I'm adopting that. Thank you.
No worries. So Lisa, tell us about how do people find you? Like are you running ads? Do they just find you on Google? Like if somebody wants to find out about you guys, like what's kind of like your sales process to get customers?
Well, our lead gen definitely is organic SEO, which is drastically changing. In fact, that was a nervous laugh, because I don't think any of us know how all of that is going to adapt. And every day we're trying, we're shooting bullets.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but we're trying all different types of, and find us. Yes, do we run ads? Absolutely, we run ads. You can also just type in 50flowers.com and come right to us.
Gotcha. And like how many people or leads do you guys sort of get like on a weekly, monthly, daily type basis?
Well, to give you just some context, our conversion rate is under 2%,
Hmm.
and it can hover under 1%, due to the fact that we are almost like the flower Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Anybody in the industry and anybody searching for wedding flowers will make it to our website,
Mm.
because we were the pioneers, and I spent a lot of blood, sweat, and wine
Hmm.
just pumping our page with all kinds of content. We've had our blog running, we're on social, we've been doing this for a while. Now, that's also, shiny stars come in and they have all these great platforms and they have it all figured out. So, and they don't have legacy. So all of that legacy content has to be maintained and cleaned up, which any, seasoned entrepreneurs out there understand what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
that just because you were the first doesn't mean you're going to be the best forever. It's a continuous grind to
Yeah.
stay.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure when you first started the business to what you're doing right now, and then now with AI, it probably three different things, maybe however many different things. So when you first started, what was working like back in 98?
What was first working? Being the first,
Yeah.
you know, and just being that crazy one who was out there going, "Oh no, we can do this." Omar, the very first question that we started off with is, "How do you do it? How
Yeah.
does that really last?" This next chapter for me, and it's been a dream of mine, and I'm finally stopping and doing it. I'm writing a book
Nice.
about from it's literally, the biggest problem that we have in the flower industry, and this is more, it's more my legacy than it is like, I want to sell you flowers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you look at a flower arrangement and you order flowers for your wife,
Hmm.
okay,
Hmm.
the first thing, or one of the first, as you're going through it, is like, dang, those flowers are expensive,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's what
Yeah.
we all think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell the story of how that flower
Hmm.
is that bouquet is a mix of all these different flowers that started in the laboratory. And
Mm.
I'm going to teach the world that how many magicians it took to get that magical flower bouquet that's carrying all of these emotions and expressing emotions in ways that we as humans, sometimes we need just a little help doing that.
For sure. It's carrying the
You
world's
know,
happiness if you think about it.
which goes down to what I'm all about. I
Yeah.
wanna smiles in this world.
Yeah.
And I want people to really understand this beautiful speck of a business that I've been blessed to fall into and become a spokesperson for.
Hmm.
And, just tell the stories of all of these beautiful people,
Yeah.
from the lab to the person who plants it to the person who, goes out every morning and cuts that bloom, with so much passion and smiles. I mean, I have all these pictures going through my head right now of these wonderful women and men that are dedicated to getting that flower bouquet for your wife that
Yeah.
you're sending just to tell her that you love her.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I think you answered that for the audience today. It's like it's your hard work. You're extremely curious, and you're clearly passionate about this industry. That's why 50 Flowers is where it is, and I have no doubt it's going to become $100 million business eventually.
Yeah, it will. It
Yeah,
will.
yeah,
Thank you for that. Thank you for that encouragement because
yeah,
as entrepreneurs, Omar, you know this as well as I do. It gets really lonely. And
oh,
there are people, the judgment that comes it can be real.
yeah.
And, having your community and your tribe and the cheerleaders along the way, that's the most important thing that we can, it's a
That's the
beautiful
driving
moment.
force. Yeah, that's the driving force. You need that. People forget. People look at entrepreneurs as like superheroes or something. It's just that you're just more driven, or you work harder, or you're more. I think to me, it's those three things always. Is you're curious about a problem and curious about the world in general, right? You're extremely hardworking and you're passionate about what it is that you do. But you're still human. You still have feelings. You still have emotions. You still have life. You have kids, daughter. Like your daughters go to school, and there's problems that you deal with, right? Like just letting go of the business in general. Like it, even for you, it took you a while to implement
Mhm.
EOS, and your business has been flourishing for some time now.
Yeah.
So entrepreneurs are always just growing and such. It's
Mhm.
I love talking to entrepreneurs because it fires up something in my belly, and I always enjoy having those conversations.
Well, you're one of us, and if you're not one of us, you will look at us and think we could be a little bit crazy up here. And, it's just our passion.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, Lisa, on the business front, with when it comes to actually what's working today, I always like to ask all of our guests, like in terms of what's working from a business perspective for you today. Like this show is called 60 Second Sales Secret Show. So, do you have any insights or secrets from a sales perspective, lead gen perspective that are working well for your business today to get
Yeah.
leads?
The very first thing that popped into my mind was defining who we were and staffing. I'm gonna go back to the people, but, like, bringing on people that are in that expertise area. I thought for years we were an e-commerce company that sold flowers. We
Mhm,
really are a flower company that sells on e-commerce, over
mhm,
e-commerce. And
mhm,
getting very specific into that and hiring around that
mhm.
is definitely working for us. You
Gotcha.
know, that's a lot of listening to our clients and understanding. Now, on the flip side, yes, adopting AI agents, of course, that's helping, with the lead gen
Yeah.
and really, redefining our email strategy. Yes, that's definitely, and making sure we have the right funnels set up. Even though email is, when you're planning a wedding, you get bombarded with emails, and email still works in our industry.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And then channels wise, what channels are you guys using? So obviously you mentioned SEO, you mentioned email. Are you using any like Google ads? Are you using any like Facebook ads? Where are you advertising and such?
Oh, yeah, we're in all of it.
Okay.
Facebook, Google, Pinterest. It's interesting because WhatsApp just started ads,
Mm.
and I was like, "Let's get on that." I think faster than my team does. Gonna throw that out there. My team's like, "How in the world did you know that WhatsApp is doing ads?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just heard it on, some podcast, or I just read it somewhere."
Yeah.
It's that constant being just in front of.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. And then now, obviously, you get a bunch of leads, you get a decent volume of leads. What happens? How fast does your sales team actually get back to those leads, whichever channel that they sort of come from? How's the response times and such from your sales team?
From our customer care team and our sales team, it's interesting because we do drill down, and one of the metrics we look at is our response to every ticket, every lead, everything that comes through.
Mhm,
You know, it's also a very interesting balance
mhm,
because planning your wedding is overwhelming
mhm,
and it's very individual.
mhm,
And you can't understanding that my customer journey from the moment that you hear about us to when you actually get your flowers delivered
mhm,
and you order, it can be 6 months, it can be 8 months,
mm.
which is a big, long it's not like you click through and you buy and then you're a repeat buy. No, this is a lot goes into my customer journey.
Yeah,
So I'm not there's nothing traditional, we're not an out of the box. I was just talking to a friend of mine that is like she can get me into the QVC or
yeah,
and I'm like I could do a flower processing kit, but my customer journey is long and complicated, and it's
gotcha.
one that you're constantly learning into. So we are more like, how can we get in front of you when it's around that 78 days before your delivery when you're placing the order?
Got it.
No. How do we engage with you? And there are two really fundamental things that we've changed. Number one, I've come back to my old scrappy way of showing up at bridal shows, you
Interesting,
know? Mhm.
interesting. So
So it's
old
not
school,
digital.
boots on the ground type, approach,
Mhm.
basically.
Yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
and it's when I first started out, 18, 16 years ago, I did 34 bridal shows.
Wow. Wow.
Just soak that in for a second, 34, and I don't have a product that I can ship in a box, and
Yeah.
it's like a banner and that. No, this is flowers are hard. Flowers are hard work.
It's
Yeah.
super hard. That's why I asked you in the beginning, like, how do you even ship it from Ecuador? Because like
Yeah.
I've always been curious about that. Like, it's like
Yeah.
either so, it's like flowers. It's like you mentioned something about like earlier, which is like when I buy flowers, like for any event, right? It's like I'm looking at the bouquets that are like picture perfect because if I'm spending XYZ dollars, whatever it may cost, I don't want a broken paddle. I don't want like bad looking flowers. I want good looking flowers, right?
Yeah, yeah, and getting good-looking flowers is, it's interesting 'cause, this past 2 years also, I've had this aha moment of,
Hmm.
not only do I have to build a beautiful website
Hmm.
that, percolates your interest, I have to convert you,
Hmm.
then I have to make sure I can fulfill you, and
Hmm.
then I have to deliver you, and then I have to make sure you know how to take care of it. My customer journey
Yeah.
is crazy, and
Yeah.
the amount of customer care that goes into it, it's anyone would look at it from the outside going, yeah, that's I'm not touching that business." But for us, we're like, "How can we do more?"
Yeah.
You know? And there are very volatile Mother Nature is one of them. I can't even begin to tell you, I have dealt with hurricanes,
True.
tornadoes,
True.
volcanoes, I have dealt with floods, I have
Yeah.
dealt with I mean, you name it, tsunamis, I've dealt with it all.
Exactly. That's another issue. That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. So, how about people? Tell me what you've learned because you're in a business where you get to see people's feelings and people's emotions right away.
Mhm.
What have you learned, Lisa, about people in your journey in this business so far?
I love that question, and it really taps into it's easy. People will not remember what you do for them.
Hmm.
They will remember how you make them feel.
Mm,
And whenever you come on first to this business, okay, there is
hmm.
a right and wrong. When I'm working with a client and
Hmm.
that client feels as they have been wronged,
Hmm.
you know, eh, I give the emotional budget to anybody who is client forward facing to first off recognize that. And it
Uh-huh.
really doesn't matter at the end of the day if they're right or wrong. It's how we make them feel.
Right. Interesting. How you make people feel. I like that a lot. Can you tell us a little bit about your book that you're writing? Can you tell us what the title's going to be? You said it's going to be your legacy, but give us a sneak peek.
It's called The Magic of Flowers, and it's from seed to table.
Mhm.
And we have all the different phases of how we cultivate a flower,
Mhm.
and we bring it to life to where it will help you express your emotions.
Love it.
And we're going to highlight all the magicians along the way that touch it. And I still haven't gotten there, which is
Yeah.
great because my very first, I've been promised by the publisher who I've signed with that
Mhm.
we will have the first book on April 1st.
Nice.
And we're, I'm going to be able to tell you it took X amount of magicians to get this product to your table.
Well, you're gonna
And
have to
this will,
you're gonna have to mail me
yeah.
a copy, so I wanna read
Oh,
it.
great. So it's on there. We're going to get you a copy because
Cool.
it is. It's something that, I sit and I talk. I've been on all these amazing boards and I've been able to like transform and help the flower industry, which is interesting because as the trailblazer that, I came in and, our chain of distribution, I
Yeah.
cut them all out
Yeah.
and they all were afraid of that change. And they all were like, I was there. I was I had hate letters at me. I lost many of my clients through this,
Yeah.
building this brand. And it was the resistance of change.
Mhm.
And I not only got closer with them and I will share any secrets. There's no secrets. It just is I got on the boards and I help people transform their own businesses. To this day, I'll pick up the phone, I'll talk to any florist
Yeah.
because we need our florists.
Yeah.
Just because I'm selling to the do-it-yourself bride or the bride who wants, it's even more than just the do-it-yourself bride. It's evolved from I only have $200 to throw my wedding. It's I want to own my wedding.
Mhm.
And I don't necessarily want you as a professional to come in and make it all beautiful. I want
Mhm.
to be part of that making it beautiful. And
Yeah.
so bringing it back to the industry, it's what we're doing is a common good for
Mhm.
people to fall in love with flowers.
That's awesome.
Because if you understand the power of flowers and the magic that they bring to your life, you're going to consume flowers even more.
Yeah. And consumer behavior, customer journey is always changing, so you gotta adapt to it.
Always changing. I mean, it's and thank you, AI. It's changing even faster now.
Yep, yep, absolutely. So we'd like to do something towards the end of the pod called a rapid fire round, Lisa. So
Oh, gracious. Okay, here we go.
I'm gonna ask you three questions, right? And try to give us the answers in one sentence or less if you can.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what's a book that you've read that's made the biggest impact in your life?
The AI-Driven Leader by Jeff Lewis. I believe that's his name.
Oh, cool, cool. What's that book about? That's an interesting book.
Oh, it's all about if you don't adapt to AI, it's not it demystifies the whole like being the fear of AI.
Cool,
And it really pushes you forward to where it's not about should you, it's you should, and here's how.
cool, cool. One word that defines your leadership style.
Let me think about this one for a second. Because fun,
Hmm, fun. Cool, cool,
adaptive, agile is what I would say it
cool,
is.
cool. If you were an animal, what animal would you be and why?
That's a really good question. And maybe a giraffe.
A giraffe. Okay. Why? Why a giraffe?
Well, it goes back to just my oldest daughter was in love with giraffes, and we spend a lot of time with giraffes, and they're very curious animals.
Mm,
And, they're unique in their way, but yet they're balanced. They look as though they should not be balanced, but they are very balanced.
mhm,
They're active,
mhm.
tongues are really long,
Yeah,
you know, and they're goofy,
they're goofy, yeah, and I think like you said too, they are they're one of those that are just like curious as well, right?
curious.
So
Mhm,
so it kind of
they are.
resonates with your personality. Very cool, very
Mhm.
cool. Well, Lisa, that it's wonderful having you. I really, really enjoyed this conversation. Can
Same.
you let the audience know if they want to find out more about you, 50 Flowers, your book, where do they find you?
Sure. Okay. 50 Flowers. You go to 50flowers.com. You can follow us on all the socials, and it's 50 spelled out.
Mhm.
Secondly, about me, I am the Flower CEO, and you can follow me on Instagram or on LinkedIn. It's where I'm very active. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, it was wonderful speaking to you, Lisa. And that's the pod, guys. This is the Speed to Lead Show, 60-second sales secret show where leads turn into revenue before your coffee gets cold. See you all next time. Bye for now.
Okay. Bye, y'all.